What's going on, guys? Welcome, Rabid here, and today we got the brand new Iceriver KS2 Lite KASPA miner. So we're going to unbox this, check it out, and pretty much go through everything you need to know about this latest miner. All right, so I got my scalpel right here. Let's crack this open and cut some stuff. And hopefully I don't cut myself. Uh-oh, it's a little wobbly here with one hand. Hopefully it weighs enough. Yes, we got through that section there. Let's kind of get through the top here. Get that right in the slot here. And slide. Yeah, I think that worked. Oh yeah, we're getting progress. We're making progress here. And now I kind of got to go this way with this hand here and slice like so. All right, we should be open. Awesome. We are through. And yes, as usual, we got our awesome red foam at the top. You know, just like every other KASPA miner out there. Alright, so it is out of the box, and this thing looks awfully familiar. Wouldn't you say? It almost looks something pretty much identical to this guy right here. They look pretty common here, and if you're unfamiliar, this is the gold shell miners. You know, the little KA boxes. This one here is a Mini Doge 3, but, you know, obviously this is a lot bigger. This is way heavier, though. This has a lot of weight to it for its small size, but, you know, the design here isn't anything new. Now the fans here do look to be about 80 millimeters or so. So on the back side here we have our standard C14 plug. So this is our power supply built within it, obviously. You just use your standard C13 to whatever your wall plug or PDU is that you're going to be using. I'm assuming this should run on 120 volt. We will try that out. Here's your power switch on, off. And then here, this little red dial here, that's just a protective cap. But you can see there's an antenna for Wi-Fi. Now, they did not send an antenna. There's no antenna with this. And it does sound like Wi-Fi does not work yet. We will see if it is detected inside this when we go to set this up. But right now it is looking like, or it sounds like anyway, that Wi-Fi does not work until a future firmware update. So I still think that's weird that they would not send an antenna even though they plan on having future reference for Wi-Fi to work. But again, we'll see what it looks like once we get it. So I don't know if you're gonna have to buy that separately after. That seems like, you know, a pretty dumb idea. Here we do have our Ethernet plug right in here. Our red for, you know, error codes here. Our green for everything's working good. We have our IP reporter button right here, and then a small reset button right beside it. So as mentioned, it does have quite a bit of weight to it for its size. So it's probably due to the power supply and everything, but I'm going to set it on the scale in pounds here and just have a look at how much this thing does weigh. It is about 9.01 pounds. So in the box, this is all you get. The miner, no antenna, and no power cable. Alright, so the specs of this miner right here is actually 2 terahash at 500 watts. So what does that mean? That means this little miner here hashes the same as a KS2, which is these big guys right here, at less power than the KS1, which is that guy right there. So a KS2 does use about 1200 watts. A KS1 does use 600 watts. These are the first generation ASIC miners for KASPA. And this little guy right here is putting out the hash rate like a big bad boy ASIC. With that being said, at this point in time, these big bad boy ASICs are no longer big bad boy ASICs. They suck, and the coin in general, KASPA, has been sucking a lot recently also. So what are we going to do with this? So first, we're going to get this thing set up and see what it looks like in hash rates and things like that and wall power. And then we're going to go over KASPA and see if it's worth mining or not. Now, a lot of you maxis out there think KASPA is the next Bitcoin, the next best thing. So obviously they don't care what anything that anybody says. They'll want to support the network and own these anyway. But as a home crypto miner, is KASPA really worth it? All right, so setting this up is pretty simple. Plug in your Ethernet cable there, plug in your power cable right here, and then simply just turn it on like so. We're going to see some nice flashy green lights. Oh, no, everything's on. I see 15 watts. Okay, we're getting some nice flashy green lights here. Let's spin this around. See the fans, they are spinning here. Now, I did get a report that a user just recently got their miner here and it wasn't working at all. So hopefully we don't get any of those issues, but we'll see what happens. So I was just getting ready to log into the IP, and then I heard the fans ramp up, and I was like, holy crap, what is that, a jet engine? Now, it's not a high-pitched sound like a normal ASIC. It was more low bass, but, you know, it did pick up quite a bit. It wasn't super loud. It's kind of hard to explain here. We will get a decibel meter hooked up to this thing so we can see just how loud the decibels are once we get it up and running at 100% fans. All right, so we got my IP here coming into my router. I can see the latest connection does say Iceriver, so we're going to right click and copy this, which is nice that it's saying Iceriver. A lot of the early KS1s, KS0s, and as well as KS2s and everything, all the first gen ASICs, they all said unknown and they wouldn't bring up their actual name. So it's nice that we can see that it's saying Iceriver. So I'm going to bring up a new tab here and put that IP in and see exactly what pops up. And if we can get into this miner right now, it's taking a few seconds here. All right, so it looks like our login is here. So I'm going to go admin, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I believe is the default password. Yes, that did seem to work. And now we can see, you know, our normal Iceriver type of dashboard here. So let's go into our miner settings. I don't see anything here for Wi-Fi. Let's go to user settings. I don't see nothing there. Firmware upgrade. So I'm not seeing anything here to connect to any type of Wi-Fi connection. So what if I go into this? Nope, static IP, nothing. So yeah, I'm not seeing any type of Wi-Fi option right now. So obviously, as mentioned, you are going to need a firmware update eventually when they do this. But at the same time, they still should have sent an antenna. So I'm going to set this up right quick and see how this does hash. All right, so I'm just starting here. We can see kaspapool.org, and then I got my wallet address followed over by my worker name, which is the KS2 Lite. And then we got my password here. Now I'm only filling in pool 1. With the newer ASICs, we did have to put in all 3 in order for them to work. But I want to test this out to see if we do need those or not. So I'm just going to save this, and I'll see if it be okay. That's already telling us format is incorrect, so it's not going to work. We do have to put in all 3. So for that, I'm just going to come in and use the exact same IP address for everything. Now, obviously, you know, you could use in your backup pools and stuff here, but I'm just going to use the exact same thing here just to get this thing up and running. So I'm going to paste all that in, and then we're going to follow this by X, follow that by X. Now hit save, and we can see operations succeeded. So you do in fact need all 3 pools in there for it to work. So maybe that's some of the errors that some people were seeing. If not, you know, still let me know down in the comments if you're running into any issues. All right, so it's been about 6 minutes since I booted it, about 1 minute or so, and since I put in all the IPs and everything that we needed to start mining. We're starting to see some hash rate here, and at the dashboard, we are connected. KS2 Lite is connected to the pool. I'm going to let this run for a little bit, and then we'll check our power consumptions and all that other stuff. All right, so we are about 12 minutes and 30 seconds in. We're a little over 2 gigahash here, or I guess 2 terahash. We're at 2.1 terahash or 2,112 gigahash in the last 5 minutes. Coming into my mining settings, I am noticing without having this checked, auto fans does kick in, and it is working. It's bouncing anywhere from 14 to I've seen upwards of 50% just to regulate the temp, so you don't have to adjust this. I will put it to 100% when I do test the fan noises here for the decibel meter, but right now it's looking about 41% fans and about 2.1 terahash. Let's take a look at our power consumption. So coming into the wall power here, we are about 536, and it does jump upwards to about 537 watts at times. So as we can see, we're around 68 to 72 degrees on the fans here, and we're at 2.1 terahash. So I'm going to crank the fans up here, see if it cools down at all. As well, we're going to check our decibel readings, and if we lose hash rate, as we know, a lot of these miners here, they do end up kind of losing hash rate if they're running too cool when it does come to Iceriver. All right, so we are around 79 decibels, which is less than when I'm talking, but around the same as me talking right now when it does come to the noise of these fans cranked up to 100%. All right, guys, so I opened the window, turned on some fans because it's minus something outside, and we can see our temps are down to 35 and 36 degrees Celsius, so nice and cool. And we did not lose hash rate. We're still at 2.1 terahash on the 5 minutes here. It actually went up to 2.2 just before I refreshed it. So it does look like we are not losing any hash rate running this miner cool, which is a good thing because as we know, if we run things cool, everything runs a lot more efficient. So let's jump back in and look at our actual power now. Now, one thing I do want to point out is this does have quite a bit of good airflow blowing through it, a lot more than the gold shell miners, which makes sense. It does have bigger fans and stuff here, but a lot of you guys like to heat your homes in the winter, and this is winter time coming around, that this might actually work for a pretty good, nice little room heater. All right, so you can see we're at 100% fans, which should use more power, but because we're running nice and cool, we are down to only 512 to 513 watts. All right, so now let's kind of compare different miners based on pricing and efficiencies coming in from Iceriver site for their miners, and then also for the KS5s and stuff. We're coming into Miner Bros, which seems to have some of the best prices there. They're nice and cheap, and shipping fees and everything is already in the price included, as well as my link and code Rabid will grant you $70 off your order as well. So coming into everything right here, we can see everything based on it. So green is obviously the cheapest miner per gigahash of hash rate that you're getting, and that is still the KS5L coming in at $12.99 at 12 terahash for 3,400 watts, 10 cents per gigahash, which is pretty good. Now looking at the KS2 Lite, which we're looking at today, that's coming in at 23 cents per gigahash. So not the cheapest, but it is cheaper than the KS0 Ultra, which is running at 32 cents per gigahash at its new price of only $129 for only 400 gigahash here. The KS2 Lite also, when it's cooled down, is looking like it is slight bit more efficient over the KS0 Ultra. Remember, if you do cool the KS0 Ultra down, you will start to lose hash rate upwards to 50% possibly, depending how cool it actually gets. So you do have to run this warm when running it. Now moving on to the KS5M efficiencies, it is more efficient than both of those at 4.41 of a gigahash to watt ratio here. And then the KS5L is actually less efficient than the KS2 Lite, but obviously coming in at pretty decent price ranges also. The KS5 is only 13 cents per gigahash, and the KS5 Pro right now is only 14 cents per gigahash, and they have the highest efficiency of 6.66 on both miners in terms of gigahash per watt of power that you use. So Bitmain is still obviously the dominant force here, and their prices come down quite a bit, making it pretty cheap right now. Now, as always, nothing ever changes. Gold shell in red, the EKA1M is 25 cents per gigahash. It's also for the KA Box Pro is 27 cents per gigahash, but it's also coming in at the least efficiency out of every other miner out there. So it's coming in, you know, pretty much more expensive than everything other than the KS0 Ultra, but it's also the worst miner in terms of efficiency, as you are burning the most amount of power per gigahash that you mine with that thing, putting gold shell still dead last. Now coming into mining now, 2 terahash, 500 watts is using a bit more power here, but on free power right now, the KS2 Lite is only making about $1.75 at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. That is about 50 cents a day in profit. So you're mining about 17.4 coins a day currently on this miner, and that's what it comes down to. Is KASPA still worth mining? You know, based on this, I'm not a chart reader, but did it already hit its cycle peak and it's already dropped into its next bear market for the next 4 years? I doubt it. Altcoin season is coming next year, and I really think KASPA could see anywhere from 50 cents to $1. That's very well possible, which means this could be currently earning around $17.40 a day, which is really good right now. But KASPA's emissions are one of the worst ones out there out of any cryptocurrency, as it has a block reward reduction every single month. And then on top of that, it works out to a full halving event every 1 year. So that means by next bear market, 2 years from now, KASPA will see 2 full halving events. And essentially, I don't really think many home miners are really going to be left mining KASPA. Ultimately, it depends on how that price does go. But if this is running like an altcoin here, not a main core coin like a lot of people believe KASPA will be, personally, I think this will stay as the altcoin season type of coin. It'll see its massive pump, followed by a massive dump. And then I think next bear market, you know, all these miners, everything will be done. People will be turning off. KASPA won't really have any emissions left, and nothing's going to be profitable, leading to a very centralized chain with only a few very large corporation miners mining this, leading KASPA to be centralized by, you know, way worse than any other coin out there pretty much. Again, that does depend on what the price of KASPA can actually sustain at. And, I think it's just going to be a quick pump and dump like a normal altcoin. But I could be wrong. I definitely hope I'm wrong. But, obviously there's people out there that fully believe in KASPA. And if you are one of those, links down in the description. But maybe you guys want to continue to support this network. And then you would like, more of these more efficient miners here. All right, guys, so that is the KS2 Lite in a nutshell. Pretty much everything we need to know, and hopefully KASPA ends up doing something. But right now, KASPA's not looking good. And I also want to point out, this thing is black. Like, I know we got a lot of black miners and stuff, but this is like a dead black color. It's really hard to get any light on it or anything, and to focus and all sorts of stuff. This is a jet black miner, probably one of the blackest miners I've ever seen. So if you're into those type of colors, that's actually pretty cool here. But for the most part here, this is the KS2 Lite. We went through power consumptions. The Wi-Fi does not work yet. They don't even send you an antenna, which I think is really weird. They probably should have done that. But overall, for a lot of home miners, this may work as a nice, decent space heater. If KASPA does end up pumping, now that's the decision we're in right now. We're at the very, very tail end of the bear market. The bull market is as early as a month away. Next month, everything could start pumping. So it is a gamble here, but we could see this thing actually turn into decent profitabilities. We always talk about it, the bull market, altcoin season, and that is right around the corner. I really do think that this miner could possibly ROI in just 1 month's time of mining, maybe only a couple weeks, depending on what KASPA does. The next bear market is really up in the air because honestly, I don't know how well KASPA will sustain its price once it goes through its pumping phase, and the emissions is really hurting the coin personally. But again, that's just my personal opinion. If you love KASPA, obviously, you're going to keep mining it to bitter ends here, but it's totally up to you. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think about this latest miner. I wish it would have came out a long time ago, possibly like when the KS1s and 2s came out, but obviously with the evolution and better efficient miners, it took until now for this to finally release. And it might be too late for most of you guys out there, but I still think there's some of you guys that may still be thinking this is a very interesting miner. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.